So, Watford at the weekend. We're going to start this preview with a few questions we've had from you guys on Twitter, starting with Owen, who wants to know who should be playing in the left wing position. Lingard, Martial or Marcus Rashford? Howson, what do you think?
I think it depends on who you're playing up against. I think there's certain teams that you need more of a battering ram type player that's going to run at the ball, run with the ball. And I think it also isn't just who plays left wing. I think left back's also a vital consideration. Thought the last match that we played, we looked very lopsided, just focusing entirely on the right-hand side against Leicester. And I thought we completely lacked a left side in terms of an outlet for attacking. I would love to see Luke Shaw coming back into the team and partnering him up with Martial, because I think the pace of those two could really combine to be a real force down that left-hand side. There is no agenda with Jose Mourinho, but it is a little bit frustrating. We're going through what we saw with Mkhitaryan. We're going through what we've seen him do with several other players in the team. When they're right, when they're doing the things in training that he's asking of them, they're going to be back in the team. So we need to stop panicking, but I would like to see Martial and Shaw as a left berth partnership.
OK. John, when Leicester won the league last season, they played very consistently. They had a very consistent starting 11. Some people suggest that football in 2017 is a squad game. Others that consistency is important if you want to challenge for things. With that in mind, do you think it's important that we have a clear position for each player? Should we have somebody consistently playing left wing? If so, who should that be?
You know, for sure, in terms of squad, I think in the past few years, watching Jose Mourinho in previous squads, if you're looking at his Real Madrid squad, you're looking at his Chelsea squad, in the 2-3 seasons that he's been there, he's really focused that first season on rinsing players, on rinsing the squad, making sure that he has the players that he needs. And from then on, it really didn't change much. He really had a specific player for that specific position or that specific role that he requested of them. And he's more so the player, the sort of manager that likes to push with that one designated player, if you'd like. And I think, for me, I just don't understand exactly what's going on behind the scenes. But one thing's for sure, I think Martial deserves to start in that left wing position. I think I agree with Howson there that we really need another method of, penetration through the flanks. And obviously, the right-hand side has been very, very crucial with Antonio Valencia. And obviously, he's lung-busting action every damn second he's out there on the pitch. But I think we need that from the left-hand side as well. And I think and then Martial, like Howson said, with a combination of somebody like Luke Shaw, can be a very, very vital outlet down that left-hand channel.
Antonio Valencia, lung-busting every damn second. Now, there's a sentence. Andy, do you think it's important we have a consistent left winger? If so, who would you pick? Or do you think it doesn't matter, it's a squad game, whoever does well can play?
I think it's a bit of both, really. Martial, we were crying out for him against Hull after the Wigan game with his assists, and he should be left wing now because he should get a consistent run. I mean, he got a run before Christmas, scored a couple against West Ham, and he scored one against Middlesbrough over Christmas time. But I'd definitely introduce Martial and play him this weekend.
Okay.
But every player is going to play a part between now and the end of the season.
Okay. Andy, while I'm with you, our next question came from Kay, who asks, as we saw the 4-4-2 against Leicester, should we see it more often this season? Are there benefits of the 4-4-2 that you like?
Yeah, because it's like the old days, isn't it? 4-4-2 attacking, and I like to see that more between now and the end of the season because it's crucial. Because if you're flourishing and the goals are going in, it's a formation you can call upon.
Okay, Howson, I'm sure you have some strong opinions. 4-4-2, is there a future for it?
Absolutely. 4-4-2 is God's own formation, mate. It's having a lot of success across Europe at the moment. You're seeing Juventus doing it very well. RB Leipzig have absolutely rocked the Bundesliga playing it. You see Atletico Madrid, they had a real period in the sunshine with it. It's been played successfully in France. Leicester won the league with it last year in England. When there's a trend in football and someone pops out of the trend and starts moving into a different formation, as we've seen with Conte and 3-4-3 this season with Chelsea, as we saw with Leicester last year with 4-4-2, when everybody's playing the same thing, and at the moment everyone's playing 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, when you can change and find a system that's a little bit different to that, it's like that the southpaw boxer, and people aren't used to it. Eventually they can overcome it, but it's a little bit of a shock to the system and people don't know how to play it. So it's good to have in your locker to be able to go to a 4-4-2 system when you need to, because it surprises people. They don't quite know how to play against it because they haven't seen it for a long time. So you get that shock factor. What I also like about 4-4-2 is that when you got 4-4-2, most people play 4 at the back, generally. You get the occasional that play 3, which in reality is 5, but most people will play 4 at the back. when you play 4 at the back with 2 wide men and 2 strikers, you're going 1v1. With 1v1 and a little bit of movement, a little bit of creativity, you can get past your man. At the moment, when you play one guy up front, be that in a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, that main number 9 has got 2 centre-halves looking after him.
Yeah.
That's why they get crowded out. The midfielders drop onto the back of him. He's got 2 centre-halves either side of him, and space is restricted. Jose Mourinho said that he tried the 4-4-2 formation to give Zlatan a little bit of help up front. I think we're going to see more of it this season. And I personally can't wait, because I think 2 striker systems is where you get the most attacking football. When me and Dave went to Leipzig last month, that we saw RB Leipzig just completely tearing teams apart. One was going the other way, one was going this way, one's holding it up, one's running in behind. That's what football's all about for me. That partnership, strike partnerships are where magic happens in football. We can't forget what Dwight York and Andy Cole did.
Oh.
You know, strike partnerships that we've seen at United throughout the years.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the best football comes from for me. I love 4-4-2.
Okay, John, do you agree? You're purring there.
I know. Well, I mean, you know, as much as it is hard disagreeing with, you know, great people like Stephen House, and I'm going to have to sit here and disagree with him here. I think the 4-4-2 against Leicester was a bit lacking. I think in the opening 15 minutes or so, we've invited lots of pressure in that early stages of the match. And I know I'm just comparing this sort of system and the formation to one specific match, but if we're looking at Leicester particularly, I think we invited pressure unnecessarily, and I think in our defensive end, I think with the likes of Marcus Rojo and Antonio Valencia, really found it a bit difficult to sort of take the ball and, you know, break that into the midfield area. Leicester, you saw them sort of doubling up on any of our defensive players. You had, you know, Okazaki, you had Vardy, you had Mahrez, you had even Drinkwater, Danny Simpson at the times, you know, coming in, participating, just sort of doubling up on our defensive players, and it was hard for them to sort of take that ball and get it out and get it towards the midfield and get it towards the final third. And obviously, as the time progressed throughout the match, you know, we were able to, you know, gain momentum, gain rhythm, and take that ball and really, you know, take the ball into the final third. But for me, I think if you're looking at it now in a forward-thinking sense, I think the 4-4-2 really didn't sort of penetrate as much as I liked. Yeah, we were able to get the ball into the final third, and we were able to sort of, you know, play players in through the channels and whatnot. But I don't think we had the penetration. I think we only saw that penetration when we forced Mkhitaryan through the middle, and I think that really, you know, allowed Manchester United to now push forward with that aggression that we've been so lacking. And I think 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, it doesn't, for me, shape can vary it, and shape can, you know, switch here and there. But I think for me, Mkhitaryan has to play central. If it's a 4-4-2, maybe perhaps a 4-4-1-1 with maybe Mkhitaryan playing in that sort of a number 10 role. That is probably what's crucial, and that really can, like Steve mentioned, you know, really open up attack and really show, you know, great attacking football with 2 forwards up front.
Okay, fair enough. Right, we're going to have a quick break now, and then we'll find out what your starting lineups are. Okay, so starting lineup prediction time. This season we're playing a game of it. So far, Howson is winning. You get a correct point for every correct player you predict in the starting 11. Howson's got 32 points. He has been deducted 5 for violence during the debates. John, 23, and Andy's on 16. So this is quite close. Howson, as you're leading, you can go first.
Sort of bullshit, getting a point deduction.
I made the rules.
It's bullshit, mate. This is the FA all over again. I'm going to go with Big Dave in net, unsurprisingly. I think he'll play Tony Valencia. I think he will probably go with Eric Bailly. And I think Daley Blind at left back.
Mm-hmm.
The other centre-half is where I don't know who he's going to play.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Chris Smalling.
Okay.
I think he's going to bring... I think we're going to play 4-2-3-1. I don't think he's going to bring the full team back in. I think Ander Herrera's getting a rest this week. I think it'll be Carrick and Pogba as a midfield 2. Mm-hmm. And I think the forward 3, after what he saw with Mkhitaryan against Leicester last week, is going to be Mkhitaryan as your number 9. Sorry, your number 10. I think he's going to play Martial on the left. Not because the press have made him, because he was probably going to play this game anyway.
Yes.
And the right wing I'm struggling for. I think it might be Jesse Lingard. I think he brings a little bit of movement to the side, and his work rate is second to none. And then obviously Zlatan up front.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Mata. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Wayne Rooney. I wouldn't be surprised if that 3 behind Zlatan was any combination of Mkhitaryan, Rooney and Martial, to be honest. And I think that'd do the job. But I just got a sneaky suspicion Jesse Lingard's going to get a game this week.
Okay, fair enough. John, your prediction?
I'm gonna go David De Gea net. The back four, the same as Stephen Housen. There, Daley Blind, Chris Smalling,
That's no
everybody.
good, John. You want to
and
gamble. If you want to get past Housen,
Antonio
you need to gamble.
Valencia. But I'm gambling here. I think Herrera's gonna start. I think Jose Mourinho is not gonna want any slip ups here. And I'm not saying that Michael Carrick's gonna provide any slip ups, but I think he's gonna just continue in terms of consistency. And he's gonna go Pogba and Herrera. And I'm gonna go Mkhitaryan in the number 9. I'm gonna go for. I think he's gonna start Rashford left. I wanted to start Martial up left, but I think he's going to start Rashford. And the right wing position was something that I really struggled with. I know, in terms of form, Mata would probably be starting. He has been playing decently, but he's missed some crucial chances and he's made it a few errors here and there in the previous games or so. I'm going to go Jesse Lingard there as well, and I'm going to go Zlatan up front.
Okay. Andy, you got 16 points. Chance to go past John.
I will go with De Gea in net. Blind, Valencia, Smalling and Bailey at the back.
Mm-hmm.
And I will go with Pogba, Carrick in midfield. And up front, I'm going to cause some controversy here.
Do it.
I will go for Rashford on the wing as one wing, and Martial on the other wing, with Zlatan up front.
Nice. Controversial. I liked it.
Pace,
yeah.
Putting it in.
Well, good luck all of you in your quest for points. Right now, let's talk about Watford. Tom Cleverley's new team. Housen, what can you tell us about Watford?
Well, I've been watching some of their recent games, really, to get a bit of a flavour of how they're going to attack and where we can find weaknesses for them. And I think when they attack, they don't attack in numbers. They sort of attack with a bit of a lone man. They're not a long ball team, but they're quite direct in how they attack. And you'll see Capoue and Dini sort of linking up, but the rest of the midfield sort of waits for a counter attack. They're not adventurous. They know that they're vulnerable, so they sort of preempt that by not attacking in numbers. And I think that might explain why they've got such a low output of goals. They've only managed to score, apart from Arsenal, they've only managed to score a couple of goals against lower league teams in the cups and stuff. So I think that as long as we can keep a clean sheet against them, finding the net, a 1-0 would be good enough against these. I don't think they're going to come and outscore us. I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, we saw what happened at Vicarage Lane. We can't allow that to happen. I think that was just a bad day at the office where nothing went to plan for Manchester United. But I think this is a chance for us to get a first bit of revenge this season and actually move up the table a little bit. What I noticed when they're defending is even though they sit back, they've got a high line, so they keep the whole pitch really compressed. And I think you can get in behind them. And I think that's why I want to see Jesse Lingard, or I think why Mourinho might see Jesse Lingard, and why I think you'll also potentially see Anthony Martial as well. I would like to see Luke Shaw. I just don't think it's going to happen. But I wouldn't be surprised either to see... I wouldn't be surprised at all, actually, if he went with Martial or Rashford up front and gives Zlatan the weekend off. Because I do think this is a team that you're able to get in behind of because of that high line. Yeah. I mean, their defending's awful at times, in all honesty. But I think it's just because of how high it is. We saw Arsenal get behind them. We've seen Millwall get in behind them. So I think Manchester United are more than capable of getting in behind them. And we should go into this game with confidence. We're at home. We're at Old Trafford. We're in good form. We look quite ruthless, to be honest, at the moment. We've just got to start picking up those 3 points and actually, finally, start moving from this 6th spot in the table. Yeah, okay.
John, any players, anybody at Watford that you're concerned about?
Yeah, I was actually going to mention the same thing about the high line that they sort of hold. And I think coming to Old Trafford, they're going to be a lot more wary and a lot more careful in terms of how hard they push, how high they keep that line. But they're going to be compact, and I think somebody like Rashford, somebody like Jesse Lingard, who has the high work rate, who has the pace, can really expose the sort of gaps that Watford are going to leave behind. And I think if we're going to be careful, we have to be wary of somebody like Niang, somebody like Troy Deeney. Probably Troy Deeney he's going to be sort of somewhat isolated from the rest of his midfield. But at the same time, they're going to be able to sort of connect well and press, considering the Arsenal match that they played. It was somewhat interestingly good, and I think we have to be careful of that. Premier League has been up and down for us, and we need to be making sure we take every sort of chance seriously, every sort of pressure seriously. And I think Niang and Troy Deeney are probably going to be the 2 players that we're going to need to watch in terms of breaking through the lines, in terms of really giving our defenders a hard time. But besides that, I hope, I don't think we're going to sort of leak or or sort of slip up here. I think this is our chance to really take a decent sort of win. And as long as we don't concede in that first half or so, I think we should be good to go.
Okay, Andy, any final thoughts on Watford?
Well, say from what I've seen at Watford, the only main threat they've got is Troy Deeney. So, like I say, Arsenal got at him in the second half and blitzed him with pace. Or Arsenal lost, and we were all smiling at that. But second half, they were under the cosh after taking a 2-0 lead at the Emirates.
Yeah. But
I don't see any problems for Saturday, and we can take a really psychological thing on Saturday. If we can move up, we could even be 4th place come Saturday night.
That's true. Yeah, it's a big opportunity. Let's hope they take it. Final thoughts then. Howson, prediction?
Early goal and a comfortable win, 3-0.
Okay, John?
I'm going 2-0.
Nice, more conservative. I'll take that. Andy?
I'm going 3-1.
Oh, we've let one in. Disaster. I will say 1-0 because nobody said that, and I think 1 is maybe more likely than 4, unfortunately. Let us know what you think. Get in the comments below. Also, have a quick look at this. WantMyBet.com. It's a website where you can have a look at other people's bets, see what they're putting money on, and get involved yourself. Obviously, do that responsibly. Links in the description below. Have a go. It's fun. That's it. Get your comments in below. Let us know what you think of this and the things we've discussed, and enjoy the game. Bye.